Yo, what's good, guys? We are back at it again with another MLB The Show video for you guys. And today I am finally expanding on my hitting guide. I'm going to show you guys how you can time up every pitch so that you reduce the amount of strikeouts you have, you increase the amount of barreled balls you have, and are overall just more competitive in online play. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. We are going to load up a creator roster I have here. Of just my DD team, right? So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to be showing you guys how to use batters' leg kicks to your advantage to help time up pitches easier. So it's something I've done for years. Most top 50 players do it, if not all of them. One particular top 50 player calls it tempo. That's not necessarily how I would personally describe it, but I would just call it a leg kick, right? You're just using your leg kick. It's very similar to real life, where you're using your leg kick to time up the pitch as best as you possibly can. And it's very similar in game. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Let's get the gameplay down a little bit. It's a little bit loud. All right. So basically, I'm going to start on All-Star. I'm going to start with probably the most universal swing in the game. And that is Mike Trout. Most people are somewhat comfortable with Mike Trout swing. And we are going to just take a few pitches real quick and just see the ball and just kind of acknowledge the leg kick. So basically what the leg kick is doing is it's giving you a timing window to swing at the pitch. It is not a cheat code. It's not going to instantly make you barrel up every pitch. Saw in the hitting video, there was some clown that was like, oh, another top end guy that won't tell you guys that you can know exactly what pitch is coming and hit way better. It does not tell you what pitch is coming. In the past, like Santander's swing has had different leg kicks depending on if it's fastball or off speed. To my knowledge, his doesn't do that anymore, and there's only a couple handful of players that ever do that. So basically, most batters have the same leg kick no matter what, and you're kind of using that to know when you're entering certain timing windows. So we will start actually taking swings here with Trout. So when the leg kick is getting to its apex, more or less with Trout, when he's thinking of, starting to bring it back down, that's when you're kind of entering that timing window where maybe you need to be thinking about swinging. It's not necessarily letting you know fastball or off speed. It's not necessarily, you see, I'm way early there. It's not letting you know exactly what pitch it is. It's not letting you know the location. It is just roughly letting you know when you should be thinking about swinging. And that's really all you're using it for. If you are somebody that traditionally just walks up to the plate and swings whenever you think you need to swing, that's probably why in online play, you struggle a lot and you strike out a lot. Because honestly, on lower difficulties, even on Hall of Fame this year, I don't know what they've done to Hall of Fame, but even on Hall of Fame, you can foul off a ton of pitches just by having your PCI somewhat close to the ball and having any timing that is not too early or too late. You want to avoid those two timings. You want to stay ideally within late and early timings. And the leg kick is largely helping you to do that. You're going to foul off more balls. You're going to stay alive in more at-bats. And a lot of top-end players, they probably don't care if you know this because they'll still mercy you anyway. But a lot of guys are like fringe World Series players, fringe 10-0 players in BR. They don't want you to know this because it's frustrating to play against somebody that sits there and fouls off every pitch. And it's not a good way to play, and you are going to hamper yourself in the long term. So you use it to help you figure out when to swing. You're not doing this to become the world's best foul ball merchant because that's only going to take you so far. But you can see we're just using the leg kick to kind of time up the pitch. We're not looking at the leg kick. It's just kind of in the peripheral. And it's just helping us kind of know when we need to start thinking of swinging. You still have to identify whether or not it's an off-speed pitch. Basically, all it's doing is giving you the timing for a high and inside, like outlier fastball. That's like the earliest you would ever have to swing. And then after that, it's all up to you. You have to adjust. A lot of stuff changes it. What pitch is being thrown? What speed is that pitch being thrown at? And where in the zone horizontally is it being thrown? All of that influences your timing. So you still have to read the pitch and acknowledge you know, what pitch it is and where it's going. It's not a cheat code. It's not instantly, it can instantly make you a better player, but it's not going to instantly let you hit perfects. You still have to have an eye. You still have to know when to swing, when to take. You still have to be able to identify the spins on pitches and kind of sit back on off speed. You know, it happens all the time to me, right? I'm a very good player, but you know, if somebody throws a John Donaldson forkball at the right time in the right spot and I read it as a fastball, I'm still gonna swing out my shoes and fall over swinging at it. You know, the leg kick isn't the end of the world. It's not a cheat code. It's not going to instantly make you hit nothing but perfects, but it can improve your online play. It can help find your timing. Like if you're in an extremely laggy lobby and it feels like you just can't do anything to touch the ball, kind of using the leg kick to kind of prime yourself and get yourself ready to swing is a great way to counteract that. And then you just kind of adjust off of it. It might not be the exact timing you're accustomed to with your leg kick, but you can just speed it up a little more. And that's when kind of you start to use that internal timing a little more to help you figure out the timing. So we'll try out some different ones. Traditionally, if you're somebody who, like last year was an example, a lot of people in my comments were like, I love Tatis's swing. I don't know what you're talking about. It's probably because you weren't using leg kicks, which is only going to take you so far. Because then you're just operating purely off your internal timing. So you want to have kind of these outside factors helping you kind of figure out the timing. You can see we'll do Bobby Miller here. I believe I have him mimicking John. I do. So that insanely slow forkball is still going to be hard to time up more or less. And you can see, even though we're getting our timing, we're not necessarily, you know, it's not putting our PCI on the ball for us. You still have to identify the pitch. You have to identify where it's going. It's just roughly giving you decent enough timing. You still kind of have to fine tune it. You can see right there, we still didn't sit back on the forkball. And if it was a fastball, we probably would have got gassed. So it's not a cheat code. It's not, you know, a one-stop shop for instantly becoming a great player. But it can definitely help you to time more pitches up. So we'll go through some different swings, and I'm not going to keep hitting off John because it's just annoying. So Jordan has like a very early predefined leg kick. This, in my opinion, is the best hitter in the game right now. Probably the best card in the game. And you can see he just has a very cut and dry leg kick. It's not quite as early as Trout's. But it is extremely good, and I love Jordan. So Judge is another example of an early high leg kick. Similar to Trout. I mean, I can't possibly go through all of them, but you know, Trout has an early high leg kick. Real Muto has an early high leg kick. Justin Turner. I think Correa even has one. I'm trying to think of who else is like really good in DD that has one right now. If Trey Turner gets a card, he's like the standout high leg kick guy every single year. So those are just a few. I do like high leg kicks. I prefer those type of swings. Seager's a little iffy. I wouldn't say he necessarily has an awesome swing. You know, the top half of the swing's great, but he doesn't do a whole lot with his feet. And I've kind of heard he does tip pitches a little bit, but I think it's so subtle that it's hard to recognize. McMahon, supercharged right now. Sure you won't be by the time this video's out. He doesn't have a bad swing. Very like Griffey / Arenado-esque with the feet. He has more so like a load that you're using the time, which we will get into here in a second. Mauer has an awesome swing. Really enjoying Mauer's swing. So usually when a top end player is saying, oh, he's got a great swing, oh, he's got a trash swing, a lot of times it has to do with when the leg kick happens. If they have an early leg kick that doesn't obscure too much of the screen, usually that's a good swing. If they have a super late leg kick, think like Corbin Carroll last year. Corbin Carroll had one of the worst swings for such a great static card. You know, we saw it last year with that Team Affinity card. The stats were crazy, but you saw him on nobody's team past like 600, 700 rating because his swing sucked, and he would just get gassed up, and you would have to completely sell out to sit on inside fastballs with him and completely rely on your internal timing. And then the moment you do that, they're spamming off speed on you. So his swing was pretty bad last year. I think there was a guy in the Tops Now moments last year that had a really bad one. Kerry Carpenter's was kind of delayed last year. Arenado has an awesome swing this year. If you like those like Manny Machado type of swings, Arenado has a very similar one to him. You can see it's a very up and down leg kick. It's not quite as high as some of the others, but the timing on it is very good, very clean. So I'm really enjoying him. Obviously, don't focus too much on the PCI. Meadows actually has a good swing if that is Austin Meadows. Babe, I don't want to get into too much yet because he has a different form. JD Davis, right? This is a card everybody's familiar with. He's a BR demon. Everybody loves him in BR. Also makes the Arenado team. He has a nice early leg kick, very Trey Turner-esque. It's not quite as early as Trey, so you still kind of can get jammed with him, where if you were actually using Trey Turner, you'd pretty much never get jammed on an inside fastball. It just wouldn't be possible with how early his leg kick is. And in previous years, Justin Turner's been very similar in that regard. But this year, his leg kick kind of happens when the fastball timing is, not before. But a guy like Real Mita is a great example of a super early leg kick. And so since we've covered that, I think it's only right to cover, I don't think I have any toe tappers. So toe tappers are like David Wright, Jeter, Chipper, are the ones that mainly come to mind for me. I'm sure there's a couple more. I think Bryce Harper has a toe tap this year. So if that's the type of swing that you enjoy, then you can definitely run it up. For the most part, I didn't love Jeter last year. I did enjoy Chipper, but that's, because he's a switch hitter. I don't think his swing is necessarily the greatest. So Babe's a little different. If you hit from normal strike zone, you might struggle with swings like this. It's not necessary. So you can see Babe actually has a toe tap, but really with cards like this, you're not really looking at the feet. You're really kind of noticing the hands, which is going to be difficult for a lot of people. I do get that. It is kind of out of the way, but you can see he kind of rocks back and his hands come down and load kind of low in the zone. And that's kind of more or less when you need to be swinging with them. You can see that slider was a foot inside, but we still had great timing on it just because we're trusting the hands. We're letting the hands fly. So there's not too many guys that swing like this every year. I think Lou Brock kind of has a swing like this every year. Luke Gehrig has a swing like this. Jimmy Fox used to. Probably one of the only righties I can think of that kind of have this type of swing. Willie Mays. Willie Mays has kind of a hand load swing this year. I think his swing is drastically improved. I think a lot of people are going to be very pleased with him if you do learn how to use his swing to help kind of tell your timing. And you can see we're just kind of rifling these balls right now. And it's something I do subconsciously. You might have to get used to it. This is one of the reasons I enjoy using, similar to the same cards for a lot of the year. I don't mind using the same cards because I get very comfortable with certain players' swings. And that's kind of something you'll see. The more you start paying attention to your leg kicks and the more you use your cards, if you're somebody that's an offline grinder, right? The new Team Affinity's coming out very soon. So you can get a lot of offline reps with your team, get very used to everybody's swing on your team, kind of know what they're deficient at, what they're good at. So like a guy like Trout, right? He has a super early leg kick, so you don't really have to worry about sinkers inside, fastballs inside. But if you're playing somebody that's throwing a lot of, not necessarily sliders, but cutters outside, and you're reading those as fastballs, you're going to roll over a lot. You got to be really cognizant about that with a player like Trout, with those early leg kicks. And when you're pitching to those players, you have to be very aware of that, that somebody's probably going to be able to turn on the inside stuff, and they're probably going to be early and roll over the outside stuff. Whereas if you compare that to a player like Ricky Henderson, for example, I think his swing's actually a little bit better this year. It's still not great, but I think it's a little bit improved. I wouldn't say there's too many just awful swings this year. But a guy like Ricky, for example, right? The scouting report on him in the past is you throw him a lot of sinkers, a lot of fastballs inside, and you don't really pitch those guys outside because their swing sucks so bad that they're kind of more so naturally inclined to hit those outside pitches. They're not really on those inside pitches. So you bust guys like that inside. You throw inside to Ricky. You throw inside to a guy like Soriano, Andre Dawson kind of has a swing kind of like that. Anybody that has kind of that like closed scissor stance, where they kind of crowd the plate, like Willie Mays in the past. Willie Mays in the past has been a guy where you throw him inside. Now I don't really know how you pitch him because he stands over the plate, he crowds the plate, but also he has that nice hand load, so I don't think he's going to struggle as much with inside pitches this year. So he's an interesting one. So kind of little dynamics that play into player swings. You can see, right, speaking on tempo, if you've ever watched Frosty play, most of the players he'll draft in like a BR draft are guys with early leg kicks. He put me onto a player like Michael A. Taylor. Stats are horrendous. Was like the best defensive outfielder in baseball like 2 years ago. And now he has awful defense and he's not very fast. But his swing is insane. It's such a good swing. It might be one of the best swings for such a low overall card in the entire game. I wish I had him on here so I could show him off, but I'm just going to keep, kind of showing off these guys. We will see if this is Austin Meadows. I'm not sure if it is. If it is, his swing is elite. I loved him. I had him in BR for a run. I still use him in co-op a lot, and he's really good. So that's Parker Meadows. Yeah, I should have known better. But yeah, so that's for the most part how you use leg kicks. I can't possibly go through the whole list. You kind of just have to try players out for yourself and kind of see how you get along with them. But in general, you want early leg kicks. You want high leg kicks. In the past, guys like Joey Votto have been very prevalent. Like, I wouldn't say anybody on my... I would say the worst swing on my current roster right now is probably Corey Seager. And it's still an above average, very good swing. If not, it's Nolan. But Nolan... I think he kind of just gets shafted because his attributes suck. Other than that, other guys with really good swings. Jose Abreu has a really good swing. Matt Olson has kind of a toe tap and a high leg kick, so you'll have to experiment with that. Joey Votto has a good swing. It's just he can't touch lefties. Who else? Matt Carpenter. Matt Carpenter has one of the best lefty swings you will use in the game. His swing is unreal. I know not a lot of people have access to that card, but be on the lookout when he gets one in the future. Vlad's swing is drastically improved this year. It's very good. And I think that's pretty much everybody I can speak on there. JD Davis is interesting. Heimer's very good, even for a switch hitter. I say that because it's kind of hard to have a bad swing as a switch hitter because you're always hitting from the advantage. Austin Riley. Austin Riley is a good one to practice your leg kicks with. If you are uncomfortable with learning leg kicks, he's a good one where you can easily tell the difference. He doesn't do a lot with his leg kick. His leg just kind of bends in and he takes a small step, and it's kind of late. So he's a good comparison, right? If you have a Trout card, I imagine most people have the 88. Trout, the 88 Trout, see how easy it is to turn on inside pitches, and then try Austin Riley and see that it's a little bit harder. Austin Riley's more of an inside out hitter, whereas a guy like Trout wants to hit middle inside. So you kind of have to learn people's swings, play to their swings, play to their strengths. Obviously, sometimes you just got to go hit a pitch, even if it isn't ideal for you, but learn your leg kicks and you will be better with a lot of guys. You can see Piazza, I'm not super comfortable with. I haven't got a lot of reps with him. I don't think he has a good swing again this year. So that sucks. A guy like Judge, right? I really enjoy Judge's swing. His swing is super good. You can see not hitting as many home runs as I wanted, but Palmeiro, small sample size, haven't really used him that much. You can see kind of the guys I favor. Mauer, hitting good on line. Turner, first base is kind of platooning for me right now. But a guy like JD Davis was there. 387 with 11. Not bad, not great. McMahon, really enjoying him. Seager has been unreal for me recently. This card was batting like 350 for a long time. Now he's up to 409. So, when you look at him over my last probably 10 ranked games, he has probably batted close to 550 for me. He's crazy. He's so good. His swing's good. I wouldn't call it great. Arenado, kind of lackluster, but you kind of expect that with his stats. His swing's good. I can tell you personally, I've hit a ton of perfect lineouts with him, so that sucks. It's just kind of a stat issue with him. Babe, honestly, Babe gets scammed more than any hitter in my entire lineup, and he's still batting 395, so that tells you something. Trout, I'm actually slumping with currently, but those are still really good stats, right? They're still great stats, just slumping a little bit. And then Acuna, new addition to the lineup, just started using him again. And then this is the best card in the game. You do not pitch to this card right now. His swing is unreal. He is so good. So, you know, just try out some swings for yourself. Other top end cards that you may enjoy. Napoli kind of has a late leg kick, so you kind of got to be more aware. You got to be more on like those inside sinkers, inside fastballs. Yelich has a great swing. It's very early. You might roll over on some circle changes, some sliders, some cutters, so you got to be aware of that. McCutchen, haven't really used a lot, but every time I have used him, I've enjoyed him. Mookie has an unreal swing. You look at his stats and you're like, he's all right. But I promise you, I want to work this card into my lineup so bad. He is unreal. He's so good, especially with the inside edge. But even without it, I would consider playing this card on Legend because his swing is unreal. Heimer has a really good swing. Freddie Freeman, a lot of people like. I kind of find his swing inoffensive most years. Gary's a great example of a high early leg kick. You will never struggle to turn on the inside fastball with Gary, but you might struggle to sit back on an outside slider. So just kind of things to think about, adjust off. Blackman has a very good swing that a lot of people always really like. You just got to play around. You got to try things out, see what you like. Yasmani has a very good swing this year. Cedric, a lot of people like Cedric. A lot of people like Montgomery. A lot of people like Cruz. Trevor Story is one of my favorite cards every year. It sucks that this one's basically unusable on Legend. On Hall of Fame, you could probably make him work. On All-Star, he's probably one of the best shortstops in the game. Vlad has a great swing. So there's a lot of very good options for swings. But you just gotta play around with it. You gotta see what you like. You gotta get dialed in for your difficulty. Mainly, I use internal timing a lot personally. But also if I'm going up in difficulty, like I just played my first game on Legend this year. It was my World Series game. Won in extras, super sweaty game. But I had to mainly prioritize using my leg kicks to find timing in that game because I was just completely lost. Had basically no Legend reps this year. The guy brought in Chapman. I was just flailing over and over again like I'd never picked up a controller before. It's unreal how hard Legend is this year. Especially, or maybe it's just me, but it seems very difficult and you're going to want to use your leg kicks. That's when I would really prioritize using your leg kicks. Be able to fall back on the game to kind of bail you out a little bit, to get used to the difficulty, to kind of give you the timing until you can adjust your internal clock. But if you can start using leg kicks, you're going to foul off more pitches. You're going to sit in those good timing windows. I know this year, necessarily being good on a pitch isn't the best thing in the world. You pretty much have to be perfect to guarantee a good exit velo for some reason. Good enough swings aren't good enough anymore. You got to be perfect. But, you know, you still want to be good as much as possible and just kind of roll the dice, let the RNG play for you. And that's kind of what the swings do. So, yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, subscribe. We will be posting all year. Till next time, guys. Peace.